Shimon.
Hello and welcome to episode 172 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Please subscribe and tell a friend.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, Wolves fans.
And Jack Williams.
Hello, guys.
And the game that brought with it so much promise because it banned Bayliss from saying Semedo's name ever again. But I'm going to start with the people that went, if you don't mind, Harry, because we're plastic armchair fans. So I'll start with you, Bayliss. It was a big one for you, out with the Scottish father-in-law. There was promise of heroin and pints and curries last week. How did it go for you in the end?
2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once sang.
Heroin and pints.
The heroin and the pints.
No curry, unfortunately.
To be honest, if you come to watch one Wolves game, you couldn't have picked probably a worse game of football. It was staggeringly bad. I can't really think of anything we did. And we didn't even get that overly mashed. It wasn't like a home game where we had 30 pints and can't remember kickoff. Like, it just nothing happened. It wasn't a very good game. Norwich had a couple of chances and a good team would have put Wolves away. But I don't know what happened. There are some players that you have to question their commitment after it. It was just so weak. Just so weak.
Jack, last week I probably jinxed it by saying I think they are one of the worst teams in the Premier League of recent years. I do stand by that. Bayliss made the point there of a better team would have put Wolves to bed. But do Norwich look a little bit rejuvenated under Dean Smith?
Yeah, I think there is that. And I think they've definitely got the new manager bounce because you've seen that in their recent results. They have picked up. There's no denying that, really. Yeah. I think there's also partly my fault as well, because after the West Ham game on this podcast last week, I said, I really just can't wait for Norwich. I can't wait to go again. I was really just sort of energised by the last home performance. And all round, it couldn't have been a worse day, really. It was well, I suppose it could have been worse. We could have lost, actually. But it was a tough slog from start to finish. Bloody freezing. There was lots of, obviously, travel trouble, particularly for the people coming from the West Midlands, because a quarter of inch of snow in this country just can't cope. So straight away, a lot of the people we were meeting didn't really get there till just before kickoff because they were stuck in traffic.
What time did they set off, Jack?
I think they set off at 7:45 and they got there about 2:00, which I know we've done similar things to Norwich before, but they were just stuck on the motorway for hours. So straight away, our plans are a bit disjointed, and we obviously don't get as much in the mood. And I think it's sort of reflected in the atmosphere that there was people missing. People have had a long day there. There were empty spaces, and it was just flat. Really, everything was flat about it. The fans were flat. The weather was flat, and the overall on the pitch, the performance was just flat, really. And we created very little, and arguably Norwich definitely edged it on being the better team and had the better chances to win. And going forward, we just offered nothing. The two wingers, I don't think they did anything. And there's a real worry now for me that I don't want to be one of these teams that suddenly turns into being really, really good world beaters at home and just terrible away, because the last few away performances just haven't really just sparked any confidence at all. So that's my own worry, really. The positives are that we didn't lose when we possibly could have done. But I think since we've come up, we've been one of these teams that it doesn't matter whether we're at home or away. We try and compete. And I don't know what's quite going wrong with the way we're setting up, or whether it's probably to do with the way we're setting up and the tactics, really. But it's just not working. And then some of the substitutions, like the baffling. You bring Traore on when the game's been crying out for him. Your two wingers have created nothing, and you put him in his position for 2 minutes and play him right wing back, and he's just like, there's nothing happening there. So it was just a bizarre day all round, really. And it's definitely not going to live long in the memory as one of the good away days.
Harry, we were singing Pudence's praises, weren't we, last week, saying how integral he is to the side. He then tested positive for coronavirus, so inevitably missed out. And then again, we're seeing Trincao come in, and it's one of those games, I think, where Traore needs to play a bigger part than he did.
Yeah, it was gutting that Pudence was out. Definitely. And as Jack's already mentioned, Trincao didn't do much. But I want to try and be positive, because we were on cloud 9, weren't we, after West Ham? And we're still 6th in the league. But we offered nothing going forward. But the positive is we kept a clean sheet. The defence did okay against Sarr. Got king of the match. Budweiser king of the match. And we're going to have off days, especially with the size of our squad. and with not much rotation to be done, options off the bench, they're going to have off days. And just look, we didn't lose. It reminded me a bit of the Palace one, but this time we didn't lose. So we're still six. Some bad performances. I mean, it was boring to watch. It reminded me of on Mike Bassett, England manager, when they play Egypt and it's 0-0. Like the goalkeeper's leaning on the post and the fans are yawning. It was a bit like that watching it on the telly. So yeah, bad day at the office, but we didn't lose, I suppose. And Norwich are on the up, as you mentioned.
Well, they're knackered because they've got no one to score a goal. The half decent striker would have finished that game.
Pookie should have scored the one. I remember that.
They were awful. I mean, and you're talking about it being flat. The Norwich fans were flat until they had a chance in about the 60th minute. It was absolutely silent.
I think it is hard to get up when it's like that cold, isn't it? I think and it's not really a glamour tie for either team, is it? So I can see why, and I do honestly think, particularly with our fans, that the travel disruption didn't help because it just makes it a really long day. Really, like the people who we met with who came from the Midlands, they didn't get back until like 11 o'clock. And I know Norwich is a pain in the arse to get to. If it's one game that you don't want sort of unplanned snow to appear overnight to get to, it's Norwich, in it, and it really did screw a few people.
I told you about Finners, didn't I? Did I tell you that on WhatsApp?
What happened with that?
So I went on Cannock Wolves coaches with him to Leicester, actually, the first game, and he goes on them every away game. Finn pretty much goes to, and he always uses them. But obviously in Cannock, it's quite high up, isn't it, above sea level? So it was absolutely smashing down with snow. And he said one of the buses crashed, and then they cancelled the other two. And I think Telford Wolves also got cancelled. So you just knew from then, when you wake up at 8, about 8 in the morning, you see all the coaches get cancelled. I think that just set the tone for the day from a Wolves point of view, didn't it?
That is quite literally walking in Telford.
Bayliss edging possession, I think, at 57% in Wolves' favour, but only 2 shots on goal compared to Norwich's 4.
Have you seen that Simpsons episode where they all go and watch the football match and they're just passing it around, but the next commentator's like, he passes again. Literally summed it up like that. Like it was it was nothing to get excited about. It was so bad. The only positive is, as Jack said, we didn't lose. That is literally the positive to take from it. If we'd have lost 1-0 in the last minute, it would have been the worst game of all time.
I'm struggling to remember what the shots were. I know Aït-Nouri had a daisy cutter that technically hit the target. What was the other one?
Jimenez had a shot first half where Aït-Nouri crossed it into him and he half volleyed it over Norwich's stand into the sea.
And that was it. That's just depressing, isn't it? Really, it was just one of those games where there's just nothing to remember. I mean, I haven't watched back the highlights because I thought, what's the point? There aren't going to be any. So I didn't watch Match of the Day or anything because I thought I've had 90 minutes of that in the freezing cold.
They'd have done well.
Myself through more of it.
A low light was obviously Neves getting booked, wasn't it? That just put salt in the wounds, knowing he's banned to go for the next one. So
anyone showing highlights did well to find 3 minutes in there. There wasn't 3 minutes. Yeah. I mean, the highlight of the day genuinely was the chicken wings in Brewdog.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
you went all the way to Norwich and then you went to have chicken wings in Brewdog.
Well, they put us in.
Wow, where's the culture?
Put us in the Premier Inn.
There's
bar.
The bottom of the Premier Inn, sort of opposite the river, just opposite the train station, which is that's like the go-to away pub, and it's not the best. So Dan and it was actually a good masterstroke by Dan for once, because he's like he's got an idea in his head. He wants me to walk 5 miles in the pouring down of snow, and they're going to not let us in anyway. But
plate of hot cheese and pickles.
It turned out to be a great call because the beer was better and the food was better, and it just went really well. And obviously we've got hipster haircuts, so they let us in straight away. It's fine.
The beer in wherever the away pub, whatever it was called in the Premier Inn, was flatter than a witch's tit. It was. You couldn't drink it.
Did the away end feel empty, lads? I know you said there's a few empty seats. Did it feel like there were loads not there?
No,
it wasn't empty, but you can tell if a game is only 2,600 there, particularly for the first half. I think people sort of moved around a bit afterwards and just stood with their mates and stuff. But next to me, there was like 4 seats that just weren't there for the first half. So it does make a difference, even if it is a few hundred that just don't turn up on the day. It does mean, when you take that sort of percentage off the total capacity, it does make a difference, I think.
Chaps,
Harry,
that discussion point Martin Webb's put on there, I disagree with him.
Which one?
You might need to read it out.
Yeah,
better that he's banned for Burnley rather than Liverpool, though. Every clown.
Yeah, I disagree.
Neves,
I disagree. I'd rather beat Burnley and then him get a yellow card there, and us potentially. We've got to pick our points here, and we've got a lot more chance of beating Burnley than we have of beating Liverpool. So I'd rather have Neves for that game, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
I just don't know. You just don't know what teams are going to turn up, do you? So
Yeah, Liverpool, and they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, which Wolves team did I? But because we could be really drab and just lose to Burnley, and then suddenly turn up on Saturday and play Liverpool off the bar. Well, not off the park.
Could that not happen? Is it?
But,
things that won't happen. Part 1. Harry, how much should that side be beating Burnley?
Oh, the Wolves side.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a God-given right, is there? But you expect better.
Well, we've mentioned no Neves, no Podence. I mean, Bolly's out till at least January, so I don't know. But I mean, Neves is just a huge miss, and we just got to hope Dendoncker comes in and does really well. I don't know what's going to happen against Burnley, I'll be honest.
Well, let's turn our attentions to Burnley because we're dying to talk about it here. So we'd say, mate, what changes would you make? But I mean, he hasn't exactly got loads of options, has he, Harry? I mean, you've sort of touched on the injury list and suspended. So never suspended. Podence will be out. No expected return through December, which is from tomorrow time recording for Neto, Johnny, Mascara, Bolly. He says we might see 1 or 2 in January to improve the squad. That's players coming in. He said that there won't be any leaving, which is you just don't know, do you? But what changes can he make?
Just Traore, innit? Start Traore because Trincao had an absolute stinker, but so did Hwang. So if he's going to, you assume he'll keep Hwang in there. Start Traore. Obviously, Dendoncker comes into midfield. And as you were at the back, that's it, really, unless he goes mad and puts Kundal in, but that ain't going to happen, is it? So that's it. And then we just got to pray and cross our fingers that nobody gets injured, because then we are panicking.
We're in another prediction where we've got a home game midweek and half of the opposition seems to be missing. So, I mean, that's a positive, isn't it, Bayliss? I think Tarkowski, Ashley Westwood and Ashley Barnes are all out, and they're all decent players that have done Wolves damage, especially last time out, which I think was about 4-0.
Yeah, they're not a bad team, but they've earned their league position as where they are at the moment. And you know what you get with Burnley? They'll be very organised. They'll be a very big physical team, and they'll try and shithouse it. And that's essentially what you get. And if I was Wolves, because of who's missing, I'd mix it up a bit. I'd try and overload the midfield or something and give Traore a bit of a free run or Hwang or someone, just to try and stretch the game or change the game a little bit. Because you know how Dyche is going to come and set up, and he'll make it difficult for Wolves, and they'll lump it forward, try and win the set pieces, and that's how they'll try and beat us. So we've seen it before. They've done it to us before.
Jack, the record against Burnley is not very good reading for Wolves fans. I think there's 1 win in the last 10 league meetings, and that was in September 2018. So drawn 4 and lost 5.
Yeah, maybe one of those teams that we just
physical teams.
Physical, exactly. So maybe Dendoncker coming to the midfield isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No,
but yeah, I'd still rather have Neves there, to be honest, and maybe we just don't have the options of any luxury really, because we are down threadbare. I mean, Jordan, unproven at Premier League level, but he's probably the next option, isn't it? So, and apart from that, what have we got really? Like, I know you mentioned Kundal then, but we really are down to the bare bones with Bolly picking up that injury. Really feel really bad for Daniel Podence, because he was like the best winger against West Ham. And then he's been hit by COVID, and we've just lost him from the team straight away.
Can he play Wednesday?
No, I think he's still in isolation. I think he might be back for the weekend. But then again, if he has had COVID, you don't know how long it's actually going to take him to get over it. It's not. Might still be, feeling a little bit under the weather.
Jordan Jack. He came on last night for the under-23s. They lost 5-0 at Agbra.
So he made a difference then.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's going to be.
Not if he played for the under-23s. No, I wouldn't have thought so.
That's what Rich put in the comments. He'd rather have one of the under-23s than Dendoncker playing in midfield. But
Fabio Silva up front, is there any place for him in this side of the 4-4 fucking 2?
I mean, one player you do want against Burnley is Dendoncker. At least he's big and gets in the way.
Can't finish his dinner though, can he?
Doesn't matter. If we don't keep him out, then we ain't going to win anything. So
did you see?
We're going to have to do something a bit different.
Also, Burnley have had a rest because their game got postponed, didn't it, the weekend?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the pictures flying around where it's snowing. Everyone's all anoraked up with woolly hats on big coats, and Sean Dyche just walks out in like his t-shirt and inspecting the pitch.
His Hawaiian shirt and board shorts.
Proper on brand, that.
That was a weird one, that was, wasn't it? Because they called it off quite late, considering it was. I think that obviously messed a lot of people about. I did see I don't know if one of you shared it in the group, but you see that guy who flew over from Canada to watch it, and they called it off really late. And
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry Kane replied to him, didn't he? Like, offered him a guest ticket for the next time he's down, but that could be another 10 years if he's travelled that far.
I mean, we've been pretty negative there, but there was a stat that I found that was Wolves can win at least half of their opening 14 games of a top flight campaign for the first time in 42 years. So it's not all bad, is it, Bayliss? I mean, there are reasons to be cheerful, but I think it's those little changes. Yes.
We haven't played the good ones yet. Let's look at it after halfway. Is what I'd say. You know, we've got Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, United again soon. We've got some big games coming up where it's going to be difficult to get points if we play like we did against Norwich or Palace. That said, if we play like we know we can, like we did against Everton, then we were going to be all right. But I think it's fallen quite kindly for Wolves at the moment, and we probably should have more points than what we've actually got. But we are weird. We either turn up or it's utterly awful. Worse. It's either way better than Nuno's last year or worse.
I'm really content with how we're doing. Like, we've got to try and stop being so negative. We're 6th in the league. I know Bailey said we haven't played the really good teams yet, and I know we've been saying about our poor away form recently, but I think we've kept the most clean sheets apart from Liverpool and Man City away from home or something like that. Our away record, I think we're 5th in the league on away form. So
it's not conceding goals. It's not conceding goals. It's a problem. It's scoring them. We only scored, was it 12?
It's what makes it disappointing though, is that when we're good, we are really good. We look a proper football team. So when we go and have these dud games, there is a reason to moan.
I mean,
if we'd just been crap all season, we'd have accepted it by now and been like, you know, the Sheffield United fans who just took any positive they could last year.
Well, that's the irony, though, isn't it? Because the first 3 games of the season were easily the best football that we've seen for a very, very long time. We lost all of them.
Yeah. But that's Someone would have said we were 6th in the league at this point after those first 3 games. I'd just laughed at them and been like, no chance. We're about 14th. That's what I thought.
Yeah. But at the time, we were quite positive, Harry, saying, you know.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, but I still didn't think we'd go on this run we have. I'll be honest. I thought we'd be like mid-table. So to be 6th with the squad we've got, which just proves, because we've got like 13 or 14 really good players. It just proves if we bolster our squad, we can do stuff. Because the starting 11 we've got are obviously good because they've got us to 6th in the league. With the games
not disagreeing. My point is that if we'd have put away the teams we probably should have as well, we'd be 4th.
Yeah,
we'd be absolutely unreal. And it's
Brentford
those little
and Palace,
sort of like
games like that,
letting teams really smash you, and then not going and even having a proper shot against Norwich away. Yeah, teams have runs and spells in the league, but it's a bit frustrating. Yeah, I'm really happy we're 6th, and we have done very, very well when we have, but the bad games are bad.
Jack, any changes? Apart from the obvious ones for suspensions and injuries.
That's the thing. I know Harry's mentioned it then, and I've been harping on about it all year. It's the fact that I've been really concerned about our December run, really concerned about the fact that we're losing players to the African Cup of Nations. And I've been worried about it ever since the transfer window shut. And it's just going to be really disappointing now when we go into this really tough December set of fixtures. Granted, we haven't played all the big teams yet, and we've got some of them to come, particularly in quick succession. That our squad just looks thin now. Going into Burnley at home, our squad looks too thin on the ground. When you're talking about, well, who are we going to bring in? Well, we better bring in our one other midfielder because it's the only choice we've got. And that's not something that the big teams have to deal with. So I'm a bit worried going into this period. I'm happy with how we've done so far. I really am. And I just wish they backed him more because he knew he needed 2 or 3 new players to properly compete. I don't want it to be one of those seasons where it's, what could it be? Because he hasn't been properly backed. And it could be too late by January. If we, because you don't just sign players on the 1st of January either. It can take another month. And by that time, it could have gone really, really bad. So I'm very pleased with Bruno. I'm really pleased with how he's done. Like you say, some of the results that we're saying are really bad. They might not be so bad when you actually look at them. Look at them on away form as a whole, all these sorts of things. But the squad is too thin, and I really hope we don't get punished for it. So on that note, obviously Dendonka's got to come into the midfield, and I'd like to see Traore in. I don't really care whether it's a Trincao or Hwang because they're both poor. And then apart from that, what else have you got on the bench? Really, Marcel. And then I'm actually sure
that's the thing.
Fabio, exactly, which is a joke in itself.
The bench from Norwich was Hoover, Marcel, Molden, Silva, Ruddy, Dendonka, Traore, Kundal. We didn't have enough. Did we have enough players?
Two keepers. No, we had 8 subs, didn't we? 2 keepers.
Yeah. It's not good enough, is it, for a team that's currently sitting in 6th in the Premier League?
And Harry, we keep hearing Bruno, and I don't know if it's because Nuno was completely the opposite, very cards close to his chest way of doing press conferences, and whether that's sort of overshadowing it a little bit. But it does seem that every single press conference, Bruno will say, "We've got a really, really difficult December coming up. We're going to have to get points on the board now so that we're not in the shit in December. And you can't sack me, board, because look at that run. You haven't backed me." What do you think?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've loved his honesty since he come in. He's been really refreshing with that. And also, it's clever because he is just giving himself that little safety net. And I think, hopefully, we know what Wolves fans are like, all football fans. Hopefully, if we do go on a bit of a disaster run now and don't get a win in 5, we can't get on his back. No way. It's not his fault, is it, Bruno? If you are going to point the finger at anyone, it is the board and that. So let's not give Bruno Lage any hard time. I know we've moaned about his substitutions and things like that. But that's just little things, isn't it? He ain't Pep Guardiola, for God's sake. He ain't perfect. But yeah, I love his honesty. He's talking facts in all of his press conferences. And yeah, I hope for his sake we can continue plugging away and getting these little draws and wins. And then he's got to be back in January, because one thing that did concern me, he did keep banging on about the Classic, which they did in the summer, is if it's not the right deal, we're not just going to sign people for the sake of it, which we can't just keep doing that again. We might have to just take a gamble on someone and it might go wrong. We've just got to get bodies in. I mean, they're going to have to get fans out the crowd soon and put a shirt on them because it's getting silly.
Let's do a score prediction, Bayliss.
We'll edge it 1-0.
Jack.
I really don't like this one. I really don't know how to call it. I'm not liking the fact they've had a few days extra rest, really. That's one concern, particularly when we've had a busy, obviously, got to play then again on the Saturday. I really don't know with this one. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1, Harry?
So I'm not going to go 4-1 anymore because it never happens and it always jinxes us. And Molineux that can't fill up, all the fans will be sat there expecting us to win. It'll be really cold. The atmosphere will be dead and we'll lose 1-0.
God, I think we're going to win 2-1. And I think I made the point last time is that nobody can complain about not going to getting a ticket for games if Molineux isn't full on Wednesday, in my opinion. Just the more I see it now and I go, actually, because it's the first time they've gone to general sale for, when was the last time?
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, one little caveat there, a little asterisk by that is the fact there's probably like 400 or 500 tickets left now is because Burnley returned to the whole bottom tier of the quadrant. So, because although they've been on general sale, they haven't necessarily been on general sale for the whole amount of time. They're quite recent additions. So, partly, I mean, I do agree that partly there's a lot of people now sort of saying where's all the it's a closed shop brigade, people who can't get tickets, because can they not get tickets, or can they only not get tickets when it's
the ones that were being really mouthy around Man United at home? And
Man United and not on Amazon Prime. So there are two parts to it, but also part of it is because Burnley's support is just shit for a Premier League team. if you can't sell out the quadrant for a Premier League game,
that isn't fair. It is very difficult to finish in the mill at 6.
Oh no, we go
to Wolverhampton at half 7.
It is his one offensive comment to the week.
He was coming. Yeah,
it's quite poor to not be able to sell half the quadrant, though, isn't it, for a Premier League game?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you not think? I think that's
definitely.
Poor. Really poor on your sort of size of the fan base. That's less than 1,000 tickets basically you've sold for a Premier League fixture. It's not like a Carling Cup game. So
it's a proper football club. I don't knock them for it.
I'm sure it is a proper.
I'd rather that than 2,000 tourists.
Well, they've been punching above their weight for a long time, and I agree, fair play to them. But
I ain't knocking them on
big game for them
on a Wednesday night.
It is a big game for them, exactly.
They're struggling, aren't they? They're down there.
It's a big game. I know it's not convenient, but it's not the worst midweek away trip in the country, is it? Really? I honestly think it's not helped by the fact it's Amazon, so everybody can watch it for £7, or most people have already got a subscription, and it's also that 15 minutes earlier, which doesn't help people when saying it was 7:30, not 7:45 or 8 o'clock. So I'm not completely slating them, but I think that's a bit of a poor show if you kind of fill half the quadrant.
You had to have left work at 5 from Burnley to make it to Wolverhampton just in time.
Before that,
yeah. Think about traffic, but
that's football, isn't it? Sometimes it's modern day football, isn't it? Let's face it, we always get fucked around with kickoff times and games moving and stuff. It's just something you got to deal with. If you're going to moan about not being able to go to Man United at 8 p.m. on a Saturday, then room for manoeuvre. Anyway, let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
Oh, we're doing betting before Liverpool. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I think that'll be relevant to the Burnley game.
I'm on the Burnley game. So the one that I fancy, I know that he gets a lot of stick, but I think Dendonker's going to prove him wrong and get the goal. So 35 to 1. I thought it was a pretty decent price.
Wrong. Can't finish.
Probably, but we haven't had a fantastic hit rate so far.
No, that's
to be fair, also I did put a 10. I put a 10 on 3-1 Tomato at the weekend.
And me, I thought, if this comes in, I'm going to kick myself. Jack wins $4,000, so I got to go.
I put us to score 3 goals, and we didn't even have 3 shots.
I put a tenner on Tomato any time I did. I was like, "Go on, son." He had that one little one that knew where Raul put him through, but then it went out for a goal kick.
sounds like Tomato. Yeah.
Oh, Jimenez 2-0, 28 to 1. They're not great odds, actually.
They're not.
One that's probably stands a better chance. Roman Sace to score first, 2-1 Wolves is 60 to 1, which isn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a little special, which is both Wood and Jimenez to score, and both Semedo and Brownhill to be carded.
Oh, there's probably some good value in that.
250 to 1.
Wow. This is interesting because obviously people might be listening to this podcast like Thursday before the Liverpool game, and like we could look like geniuses now if you've got one of them right, Bayless.
That's what we should have done. We
should have just yet this year. We had one come in, I think. What was it? Martin Webb in the comments wants 2-1 Semedo anytime. So you guys,
big odds that.
That'd be about that'd be about 50 to 1. Just Semedo with Wolves to win.
No, 2-1.
Oh, 2-1. So yeah, I 75. I don't think that'd be loads in it. I think
160 to 1.
160.
Well, if you want to go and throw away some cash, are you feeling quite confident about the Christmas Day?
Semedo I'm actually gonna have a couple of weeks off drinking to just really take full advantage.
What day are we doing that? What day do we have to pay?
Boxing Day, I think.
I thought you said you weren't coming Boxing Day.
Yeah, I'll pick one after. Don't you worry,
Jack.
Don't pick. You're going to wait for Saturday.
Nagas kebab.
Jack, before you go on to the ticket news, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that your ticket news actually helped someone? They commented on Facebook.
I did see that, yeah.
I was I nearly fell off my chair. I thought no one ever listened. I thought everyone turned off or skipped the ticket news.
How many episodes is this?
Yeah.
So take 170 episodes and it's actually helped somebody.
There you go. See? As long as we help one person.
It's all worth it. As long as that person listens for 500 hours. So, I mean, we spoke about Burnley just in case you didn't realise there's tickets left on general sale for people who need them. But I think everybody who's got one now is probably aware of that. And most people would rather not be freezing cold, getting rained on in the North Bank and just stick Amazon Prime on, to be honest. So we'll leave it at that.
Which you missed an absolute cracker if you listen on Thursday and we won 9-0 last night. Yeah.
That's a good point. Home games against Liverpool and Chelsea. Yeah, good luck with those. Sold out, aren't they? The Boxing Day game, so the Watford game, which is always popular, isn't it? Boxing Day game, probably not helped by the fact it's an early kickoff at 12:30. That's on sale to the Membership Plus members as of today, actually, as of the 30th. So I'd imagine they won't hang around too long, to be honest, but there are some left at the moment. The away games, there has been nothing really more to announce, really, apart from the fact Man City, it's now sold out, and Brighton did eventually sell out as well after getting quite far down. But if you go on the Wolves buy and sell groups, I'm sure you'll be able to get a few Brighton tickets, no danger, if you really want them, because people are still trying to shift quite a few of them. But officially, all sold out, which is going to be good, because at least, especially for that midweek game at Brighton, there's going to be a good crowd there from the Wolves fans. Definitely more than Burnley are bringing to Molineux tomorrow night.
Actually, Jack, whilst you're onto that, if Watford on Boxing Day, I am actually looking for a couple of tickets for family members. So if anyone loves the Wolves less than they love their family and isn't going, please do get in touch, because the Bayless family, we're all up for the football.
Richard's got his. Richard's going in the comments there.
Oh, sorted. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the Ballon d'Or nomination. There's no Wolves players on it, weirdly. So a little bit disappointed. Cody was at 11, I think, and it's only the top 10, isn't it? Harry, I think you mentioned Jorginho. He came in at number 3. Messi won it again, and it sort of bodes the question: what do you have to do to win it apart from being Lionel Messi? Because that's all it seemed to be. Because he's, some people say he's been carrying Barcelona just what they've been like without him and stuff. But I think Lewandowski won most of the things that he could have possibly won last season, bar Champions League.
He would have been my winner, I'll be honest. But I don't watch a lot of European football, if I'm completely honest. I only really watch the Premier League. So the Salah being 7th was weird. And then
don't get it.
Who was 3rd?
Do you want me to give you the list? I'll give you the list.
Yeah.
Number 1, it was Messi. Then Lewandowski at 2. Jorginho 3rd. Benzema, the blackmailer, at 4. Number 5, Kante. Ronaldo at 6. I don't know what Ronaldo's done the past couple of years for Juventus, and obviously done nothing for United yet.
This calendar year, isn't it? Is it this calendar year?
Calendar year it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Benzema alleged, or has he actually been convicted?
He got suspended sentence. Mo Salah 7, De Bruyne 8, Mbappe at 9. Again, don't know what he did. Donnarumma at 10. It's quite weird for a goalkeeper, and actually, it's only ever strikers that win it. I think it's only a Cannavaro, who's a central defender, that's ever.
Can you believe Michael Owen won it once? That's mad, isn't it? When he was a little whipper.
He was unbelievable. Was it 2000?
01, I think. It was when they won the treble.
2001. 2001, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, who would have been your top 3? I don't think it would have been the same.
Lewandowski had to win it for me. I think Salah should have been the top 3 as well, and maybe Messi in there. I still think Ronaldo's better than Messi, by the way. I've always been Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean that.
But it's a debate
at the moment, and he's carrying that United team.
They both not done it in Italy. One last thing, and I was going to tell you about this earlier, but I thought I'll save it for the podcast, because happy St Andrew's Day, everybody. Time recording it is St Andrew's Day, which is a Scottish holiday. So I thought, well, let's go around in a circle and see how many Scottish Wolves players we can all remember from the past, and see how long that lasts. Because I reckon it should last at least a couple of rounds, and I've pretty much got my own list, and I think I've got the definitive list, but there might be ones where I might have to check, but we can check it live. I mean, everyone's going to be looking at the comment section now, trying to steal an answer. Yeah. But
have to be quick.
Harry, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'll start off with Kenny Miller,
Bayliss,
Andy Gray,
Jack,
Neil Collins.
Oh yes, Harry,
Alex Ray,
Bayliss,
Colin Cameron.
Yes, Jack,
Kevin MacDonald.
Yes, Harry,
Christophe Berra.
Yes, Bayliss. Getting into dodgy territory here.
Struggling. I'm gonna have to.
You might have to go old school.
My phone is over here. It's not on.
Go for a Wolves player in the 1970s that was compared to like Frank Lampard. Played alongside Kenny Hibbert.
I think Bayliss has lost it.
Anybody? Anyone?
I'm lost. I've seen the ones. I've seen all the ones in the comments, but I'm not going to use that. That is cheating.
Oh yeah, no, I've missed the one. Yeah.
Can Bayliss be out because this has been so
right, I'll say the ones in the comments because then it keeps it easy. So in the comments we've had Kevin Kyle and Stephen Fletcher, which is fair enough. They're correct.
Okay, I'll go for
Jackie McNamara.
Oh, that's who.
Yes, was it really?
It was. Hold on, there was another one. That one, Charlie Mulgrew.
Oh, yes. Was he Scottish?
Yeah.
Mulgrew. I would have thought so.
Mulgrew.
Mulgrew.
Oh, I've got another one as well.
Now I'm getting down to the nitty gritty.
This is. Someone said Nigel Quasi. That's a great shout.
Oh, Chris Ilumo.
Oh yes,
Lee Griffiths.
Lee Griffiths. Oh no, back round to Jack.
Oh damn it. We've had Kenny Miller, haven't we?
Yeah, I said that.
Jesus,
it's hard now.
It's difficult. Have we had a keeper? I'm trying to think if I had a keeper on my list.
Mate, I'm struggling now, so yeah, you've had Uluwimo, haven't you?
Yeah.
We've had Cameron Martin.
I've got a centre back from the 70s.
Oh,
And I think
God.
Bayliss's dad would probably say one of the best centre back I've ever seen. And his initials are FM.
Frank Monroe.
Frank Monroe is, yes. It wasn't your go because you were out ages ago.
Jack, are you out? Because I am.
I think I'm out. Yeah.
I'm still quite impressed I managed to get that.
Yeah, you could have Willie Carr as well. That was the
that went on longer than I thought, I'll be honest.
That's what she said. Excellent. If there are probably more that I can't remember or think of. Yeah, screaming at their speakers. Go on.
Isn't at the moment, is there? Just thinking
I can't think of a keeper.
I don't know. There's none in the squad at the moment or on the fringes.
There's going to be really obscure ones that hardly
McCarthy era.
No, yeah, on the verge of no. People will know, but it'd be like someone who made 2 appearances or something silly.
Yeah,
Jackie McNamara was a great show.
Charlie Mulgrew, I was proud of that. That just come to me because I was thinking of McNamara, and then the M came to me. Anyway, I don't.
We need to talk about. Do we need to talk about Liverpool?
Mark Clyde. Was Mark Clyde Scottish?
No,
he was.
But,
no, he's English.
No, I think Clyde is.
Just thinking Clyde is in Scotland.
Did Jason Scotland? No, that's not a thing. Do we need to talk about Liverpool? I'm trying to think of it.
We're playing on Saturday.
We should. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it depends what happens at the.
Shall we now just say two different reactions to how Burnley went? Be like, oh, Burnley was great. Oh, Burnley was rubbish. Now on to Liverpool, and people can pick which one they want.
Well, you are going to speak to Henry Jackson, ain't you, Sam? So we'll release that Thursday.
Yeah, this is Anfield. Have sent some questions through. I mean, we could ask you them now if you want. I mean, it's more of a Wolves persuasion, but I don't know how we'd approach a Liverpool game, to be honest, because we're going to be in exactly the same situation, aren't we, Harry? There's going to be, I mean, Neves will inevitably come back into the side, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. But then it's going to be that tug of war. I mean, Podence walks straight back in, doesn't he?
Well, obviously, because we were speaking before Burnley, it depends how Trincao, Hwang and Traore do. If one of them have a good game, maybe not. Mm-hmm. And obviously, recovering from COVID, maybe not. For me, I mean, I'm not a tactical genius or a Premier League manager.
What?
I would love to just, because it's Liverpool and obviously they are amazing and it's inevitable that they're going to pin us back for large periods of the game. I think we might have to go back to the old Nuno classic, sit deep and try and hit him on the break with Adama. Because he's caused them a lot of problems in the past, hasn't he, when we played him? I think back to that Jimenez header. Remember that one? When we lost 2-1. So that's it, really, isn't it? They're one of the best teams in the world. We've just got to try and hope we can catch them cold, hit them on the break a few times and try and scrape a victory. But it's going to be a really tough game.
Oh, Jack, I suppose you echo that.
Yeah, I'm not holding up much hope, to be honest with you. I think Burnley... Jota. As I said it before, though, Jota, yeah, good shout. Not Scottish.
Yeah.
But, no, he's not Scottish.
Yeah, I mean, we just want us to turn up and have a go, don't we? And as I said earlier, you just don't know with this Wolves team whether we'll have a really poor performance tomorrow night and then suddenly just turn up on Saturday. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the fact that we've got quite a quick turnaround as well, and it's a busy week for everybody really with the way Amazon Prime have put it all together. But we'll see. Who knows? But if you offered me the choice now, as long as we beat Burnley, I don't really mind about Liverpool. And I said last week that we needed 4 points from Norwich and Burnley just to give us that safety net going into this tough run of fixtures, really. And if we get that, then it's a free hit in my book. Just do what you got to do and have a go. And if you somehow manage to get a point out of nowhere, then brilliant. If you lose 3-0, but you've had a crack, oh well.
Bayliss, I bet Traore is absolutely chomping at the bit for this one, isn't he? Because Klopp's spoken of him.
Of Scottish footballers, Hughie Curran, and also someone that we've all stood and booed and given loads of abuse to.
You.
Other than the dodgy dealer, the bankrupt man, Michael McIndoe, was Scottish.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Oh my God, Barry Douglas. Oh, everybody is going to be shouting at Barry Douglas.
Shoot me now.
It feels so stupid.
It's quite a lot.
There's only one Barry I know that isn't Scottish.
Oh dear.
Liverpool.
Yeah. Sorry.
Free it. Doesn't matter as long as Jota doesn't score 4. I'm happy.
Darren Ferguson is on the list of Scottish players as well. Score prediction against Liverpool, Harry.
Like you say, let's just imagine now that we beat Burnley 3-0. We'll be full of confidence. I think we're going to get a really battled 1-1 draw. Very proud performance.
Jack.
2-0 defeat. Like, I don't think we'll get battered, and I don't think we'll let in that many goals. But I think, from the showing, particularly in front of goal against Norwich, I don't have much hope for us scoring that many. So I think 0-2 Liverpool.
And Bayliss?
3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Excellent. Kevin Kyle, Dougie Freeman. They're also on the Scottish. These are fairly recent, though. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking through these. It wouldn't be very good if you're sort of. Anyway, let's leave that for this week. Lovely little bit of quiz action there. We enjoyed that. Best of luck if you are travelling to Molineux against Burnley, and likewise if you're going up against Liverpool as well. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Yeah, just quickly before I say bye. Obviously, Thursday, your mate Henry, you'll drop that with you, Sam.
Yeah.
Another thing as well. Don't know why this has just come to me as we were finishing. I wasn't even planning to say this. I went back through our old DMs on Twitter, Instagram. I didn't go on Facebook. Obviously, the Wall 77 Club. And there was a little spell we went through about a year ago where people from outside of the UK, from like New Zealand, Australia, were sending us messages and saying where they're listening from, things like that. And we used to read them out. So if you're listening outside of the UK, just drop us a little message.
And then Bayliss has managed to go around every single country in the world and offend everybody. So now they don't.
Even if you're in Ireland,
mission accomplished.
I also have a personal target to offend in some way.
Everyone.
Wherever you're
in
from in the world.
Scotland, if you're in Scotland and you're like,
no, we've done the Scottish. We've done the Scottish.
Oh, okay.
Just anywhere in the world, I'll find something.
It's enjoyable, I think. But it always blows my mind when someone in Australia is like, "Yeah, I'll listen." When I'm driving down the East Coast with a barbecue on my van, I'm like, bloody hell, that's weird. We had messages like that.
Unsafe.
I read one, and we must have read it back in the day. And he said like he drives down somewhere in Auckland, New Zealand, and he listens to like WM, so he's listening to like the M5 and the M6 updates like as he's driving along.
All clear for me.
Yeah. So things like that.
Did anyone
say
and bye?
Goodbye. Yeah, I said Berra.
Yeah, we said Berra. Yeah,
we said Berra.
You
Maurice Ross. Do you remember Maurice Ross? He was crap, wasn't he? He was Scottish. We'll say goodbye to Jack Williams.
Isn't he from the IT crowd?
Kevin McDonald.
Said that.
He
said
Malcolm Finlayson, my dad's just
said. Gone for hours. Bye, everybody.
Never.
It's all the ones from the 50s and 60s and stuff. And it's a goodbye from Bayliss.
Yeah, goodbye, buddy.
That's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.